still another minute for you to make sure you create a fund around you. I don't know what fund you create around you that actually brings money, because you know, sometimes I think about money a lot to an extent that even the environment has to feel money. I don't know, Sonko, if you're feeling money at this moment.
Well, I want to have it. I'm not feeling it yet, but I want to have that money with me. So as of now, I don't feel that money, but I feel I need to get that money within no time. But feeling something you don't have at the moment is not good. Though I do believe you need to first feel it before you get it.
Catching flights, catching feelings.
I would definitely want to get it.
Very now, we go to across borders where we look out what is trading around there for our neighbors, and not just the immediate ones, but across the entire globe.
And we kick-started off from the East African Community Bloc, where the EAC reviews Common Market Protocol ahead of the DRC entry. The East African Community is reviewing the Common Market Protocol to allow a smooth entry of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is the new entrant to the East African Community member states. And this is set to spur intra-regional trade, which was stagnated at around 15%. The bloc's highest decision-making organ, the Heads of State Summit, that is having the heads of state or the presidents of different countries, will review the protocol at the high-level summit retreat on the common market before this year's summit in April. East African Community Secretary General Dr. Peter Mathuki confirmed this particular plan as the common market was adopted in 2009 and entered into force on July 1st, 2010, with the aim of boosting the growth of the East African community through free movement of goods, services, labor, and capital. Its introduction 5 years after the first pillar, which was the customs union in 2005, required that it combines the region's economies as well as creating opportunities for the private sector and increasing competitiveness. But 11 years on, its requirements have been hampered by tariff and non-tariff barriers, which include red tape and non-compliance by the partner states. The other pillars, which is the monetary union and the political federation, are at various stages of implementation. Now, with the expected entry of mineral and natural resource-rich Democratic Republic of Congo, which comes with a population of over 90 million people, Kinshasa offers a fertile consumer market and an important investment destination. Its East African Community entry is expected to strengthen trade ties and expand the market for goods and services. Explaining the rationale for the ongoing CMP review includes, according to Mathuki, is that there is need for reflection on the achievements plus the challenges and what needs to be done for realization of a fully functional common market. Now let's look at the integration pillar here, as Dr. Kevit Desai, the Principal Secretary in Kenya's Ministry of East African Community Affairs and Regional Development, who chairs the East African Community's Permanent Secretaries Committee reviewing the Common Market Plan, the CMP, considered that this crucial integration pillar has been hit by various challenges. And he actually said that they want to review the Common Market Plan to everything for everything, from transport, logistics to the need of interconnectivity to market systems, so as well as the sector-based thinking to promotion of innovation technology, e-commerce, and so forth, which did exist when they wrote the CMP about 12 years ago, he did reveal. Now, described as one of the most ambitious regional integration agreements globally, the CMP was meant to spur intra-East African community trade, but partner states have not enjoyed its fully benefits. And Ugandan East African Legislative Assembly MP Dennis Namara and chairperson of the General Purpose Committee at the Assembly cited the lack of commitment to reforms, drawing attention to the Customs Union Protocol, which provides for establishment of the East African Community and Trade Remedies Committee to handle matters of rules of region, anti-dumping, subsidize and countervailing and safeguarding measures, as well as dispute settlement. So the East African Community here is now reviewing a Common Market Protocol, the CMP, ahead of Democratic Republic of Congo's official entry into
the East African
the East
community.
African community.
And speaking about the East African community, East African countries are into the $8 billion investment plan. Let us now dive into this one to understand how exactly is the $8 billion going to be helping or integrating the African countries. East African states will jointly benefit from at least $8.77 billion worth investment in transport, healthcare, energy and agriculture, among other sectors, from deals made that 2021 African Investment Forum concluded earlier on last week. The three-day event was organized by the African Development Bank in partnership with other finance organizations including Africa Export-Import Bank and African Finance Corporation, among others, yielded a total of around $36.2 billion from 43 investment deals from the entire continent. That's around 37.5% short of the expected $58 billion. For East Africa, the largest deal linked during the forum was around 3.33 billion railway corridor that will run from Dar es Salaam through Bujumbura to Kinshasa in the DRC, and with the extension to Kigali, which will be done as a public-private partnership project. There is a lot of political support and goodwill for this, that they can't wait to see the railway that was being highlighted by Dr. Akinwumi Adesanya, who is the president of the chair for the forum, that was attended by 11 heads of states, including Tanzania's Samia Suluhu, Rwanda's Paul Kagame, and DRC's Felix. And also, looking at the other deals closed during the forum, are unspecified amount that will be facilitating vaccines production in Kenya and agriculture investment to improve East Africa's food security, especially wheat and grain production. In West Africa, a 4 of the 6-lane high corridor connecting 4 countries that will cost around $15.6 billion got the largest share of the investment deals. The highway will be running from Lagos in Nigeria through Lorraine in Togo and Accra in Ghana to Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire. It is also expected to support around 75% of trade in West African region, reducing transport cost by 48%, increasing inter and intra-regional trade volume by around 15 to 25%, and the impact or impacting lives around over 500 million people. In total, West Africa will be getting around or got around $16.92 billion investment expenditure, around 47% of the total amount deals linked at the forum. Central African countries will get $4.27 billion, Southern Africa getting $5.44 billion, and Northern Africa getting $804 million, this one being the list. And across the continent, the energy sector will be getting the largest share of investment, worth $19.44 billion. This includes expansion of the renewable energy sources, development of liquefied natural gas infrastructure, and developing electric vehicle manufacturing infrastructure. The agriculture sector benefited from around $9.868 billion worth investment. Healthcare around 452 million, creative industries getting 1.5 billion, which included a 5 million film academy to be set up in Nigeria. Now, to conclude on this one, how African countries are benefiting from the investment deal, women-led businesses will be receiving a boost of around $4.94 billion in investment forum, from out of which the $1 billion is going to be used to set up advisory facilities for women. And this will be removing obstacles away from businesses around women, because women businesses should never remain small, saying Dr. Adesanya there, highlighting about how African countries are bound to be reaping greatly from the investment deals that are being highlighted there. The least one is going to be that is North Africa, and Northern Africa, there are countries like Egypt, there are countries like Libya in the North Africa. They'll be getting around 804 million around there, whereas the least one following there is the Central African countries getting 4.27 billion. So that means that let us look forward for this. So long as minerals, energy has been also given a priority. So that means, Sonko, we're going to expect a lot of trade mitigations, not just around the energy with Tanzania or Kenya, but we'll be also crossing to Nigeria now as being highlighted in the reports.
Quite important indeed. Now let's head to the east as we start up with China. As the China Eastern plane carrying 132 people crashes in Guangxi Mountains. And this was flight MU 5735. Now, and when you look at this situation here, as coming in from a situation, but before we actually head to China though, we are supposed to actually head to Nigeria meanwhile. As,
you can still take us to China.
Nigeria moving in turmoil, as electricity and petrol supply crisis escalates by day. So what is actually coming in here represents that Nigeria's fuel shortage and a month-long power blackout have converged into a perfect storm scenario, which is paralyzing the economy of Africa's most populous country and causing social anxiety and raising very huge questions about the country's self-sufficiency in a resource it produces. And the sixth world crude oil producer with significant chunks of gas reserves in the country, Nigeria has been struggling to provide sufficient and affordable energy to citizens, which has actually been in place for almost 2 decades now. And with the international oil market reaction to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, images of fuel stations with long queues facing empty pumps have become the order of the day in most of the countries, and speaking of which, Nigeria as well. The situation has extended to the aviation sector, as jet fuels have also become scarce, forcing airlines to cut flights or increase ticket prices. Meanwhile, when you look at the economic activities that are grinding to a halt, small, medium, and large-scale businesses hitherto dependent on petrol and diesel because of unreliable electricity supply have reduced production. And when you look at a welder who is in the names of Innocent Okopara, lamented that lack of electricity is affecting his work, and now he's only depending on different generators to actually generate the power at his workplace. But he says there is no petrol to power the generating set, and filling stations are asking them to actually bring generators physically to be filled at the pumps, not carrying the jerrycans or carrying any other thing. You're supposed to carry your generator to the filling station. Initially, this was actually attributed to the withdrawal from circulation of the imported adulterated petrol in early February, as petrol scarcity has lingered for over a month now, despite assurances that the country had been flooded with the product. The government has failed to offer adequate explanation, frustrating the public even further, as the ordinary citizens are suffering. Rose Ademua, a civil servant in Abuja, lamented that there is no light, no fuel, as the situation, according to her, is very terrible. Now, Nigeria produces 1.2 million barrels of crude oil, but exports it all, as its 4 refineries in Port Harcourt, Wari and Kaduna are derelict and out of commission. It now depends on importation of all refined petroleum products. Electricity outage has compounded the situation, paralyzing major commercial and industrial cities across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, in Abuja. Meli Chari, the Group Managing Director of Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, attributed the current petrol shortage to boarding and panic buying, while assuring the public in an address to oil stakeholders, that is the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Petrol Tank Drivers, Depot and Petroleum Marketeers Association of Nigeria, and Major Oil Marketeers Association of Nigeria. The petrol crisis go to us when Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority confirmed in Feb that methanol above national specification was imported and efforts to recall the off-spec petrol from circulation. Now, winding up with this particular one, the street racketeers are selling a liter of petrol for between $0.45, that is around 300 naira, and $0.50, which is around 500 naira, as against official price of between 162 naira, which is 0.35 US dollars, and around 0.36 US dollars, which is 165 naira. So when you look at that, liters of petrol being at around $45 and $50 in there, that is for the street racketeers, and which clearly shows you that is it in there. But China is rather Nigeria quite facing disadvantages here when it comes to the Russia and Ukraine war.
I really see you want us to go to China. And speaking about China, it's a sad one coming in from there, where the China Eastern plane carrying around 132 people crushed around Guangxi Mountains. Now, a Chinese Eastern airplane carrying around 132 people on board crashed in Guangxi province, Chinese officials confirmed earlier on a day before. There was around 123 passengers and 9 crew members on board, said the Civil Aviation Administration of China. The number of casualties and reason for the crash are not yet known by the time we got this particular news, but the Boeing 737-800 jet crashed in mountain region in Guangzhou, with the explosion setting off a fire in the woods, reported state media highlighted there. And the rescue crew have been deployed or were deployed at the area. The CAA said they also had dispatched personnel on the scene to check on what was happening there. And what we know is that the flight MU 5735 left Kunming around 13:11 local time. That's at 5:11. The time there was scheduled to arrive at Guangzhou around 15 or 0 minutes past 15 around the local time in China. But flights tracking sites reported the plane was in the air for just over an hour, and that was nearing its destination for just an hour. And according to Flight Radar 24 data, that is Radar 24 data, the last sourced information on the flight showed it ended at around 14:22 local time, and the altitude was around 3,000 or 3,225 feet around there when that plane crashed. So may the souls of those who lost rest in peace around there. And we are also mourning or trying to be in those sad times with the people involved in that particular accident.
Okay, and we still hope the country can find ways of getting back to this situation, but this affects
the I'm taking sector. A very deep sigh around there.
And when with the aviation sector, once a crash happens, not like it rarely happens, crashes rarely happen. That is why it is actually becomes an international story everywhere. It is not more so like an accident that can happen in Rela in Masaka, whereby the people in the US may not know of, unless when there is a United States dignitary on that. But with the plane crash, this actually creates a lot of attention from everywhere across the world. Let's get back to Africa, meanwhile, here, as we speak the sub-Saharan Africa, as rising temperatures threaten beef and dairy farming in the region. When you look at sub-Saharan Africa, could lose a significant percentage of its meat and milk production to environmental stresses as climate change threatens cattle farming in the poor countries. Scientists say heat stress will become an increasingly serious challenge to cattle production systems in the lower latitudes of tropical West and East Africa as the century progresses, with the exception of the highlands of central Ethiopia and southwestern Kenya, Researchers from the International Livestock Research Institute, the ILRI, the Consultative Group for International Agriculture Research, and Cornell University say climate change poses a potentially devastating economic threat to cattle farmers due to increasing heat stress on animals. And depending on the breed, cattle can experience thermal stress as temperatures higher than 20 degrees Celsius. As at the higher temperatures, animals reduce their feed intake by 3 to 5% per additional degree of temperature, reducing productivity. Heat stress increases respiration and mortality, reduces fertility, modifies animal behavior, and suppresses the immune and endocrine system, increasing animal susceptibility to disease, as well as heat stress can also reduce rumination and nutrient absorption.
Very well, and just for you to let you know, you cannot just walk away without you knowing how China has reported the first COVID death in more than a year. And just briefly to highlight for you here, this was reported around Midland China, reporting the first COVID-19 death in more than a year on Saturday, according to the post on the National Health Commission website, saying that 2 people actually had died in the northern eastern region of Jilin. China reported only COVID-19 death after for the 2021 after the last one, which was lastly recorded around January 25th. So may their souls rest in peace. And also, just to remind you, China is still battling heavily or hardly hit with the pandemic, throwing or putting numerous of provinces into a lockdown. So we stand with the people in China. We never know what is going to come after that for African countries, even for a country like Uganda. But with that, now we head into a break. We return shortly, still discussing about business reports and getting motivated with business tips and also stories around there.